Hi there, here's a quick video of how to bulk import grades from an Excel or CSV into our D2L gradebook. So I'm using Ms. Castillo's gradebook as a demo here, and the first place you go is to actually you want to export. To import grades, we're going to export first to get the correct style CSV. So forgive me, I'm trying to keep it super FERPA friendly here. So I want to export including username. This is going to be important for the upload process. So I got to have the username. And then I'm going to also include for me the student's last name and the first name. I'm going to erase that later, but it's going to help me figure out who is who. And then I want to choose just the one item that I'm going to be uploading this time. And for this, I'm going to be doing the all-in paired passage. And I'm going to export to CSV. Download. I'm going to open this. Okay, forgive me trying again to keep it super FERPA friendly as possible. Here you'll see I've got these little pound symbols or hashtags. I guess that depends how old you are. And it includes my username, right? That's where the first hashtag is. And then last name, first name, that's for me. And then I've got this. This is the name. This is how the D2L is going to search my CSV here to match. So it's important that I did that export first. And then I've got to have this end of line indicator. So all that comes from the CSV export from the gradebook. And these little hashtags are telling the program when to start line and when to end line and go to the next user. So it's real important that we have this template to use before we upload. All right, so that is what was in the gradebook so far. I can see Ms. Castillo had some grades in there. I'm going to pause on that. I'm going to switch over to USA Test Prep, trying to keep it friendly again. I'm going to match and upload my gradebook from this assignment. So there's a couple ways you can get to your grades, right? You can go through the assignments or the assessments and you can download, but the issue is going to be to make sure that your rosters match up. And I think that it's easier if you download the entire gradebook because it's going to give you those students that didn't complete it. Whereas if you go to the assessments, you know it's not going to give you the students that didn't complete it, just the graded assignments. So I'm going to go to Ms. Castillo's gradebook because I want all of those students. Just slid it over a little bit to try and hide those names again. I'm going to hit export. It's going to export the whole thing for me, and I'm going to try and grab the one assignment that I'm looking for today. So I'm going to hit export. It's going to open up a Excel document for me. I'm going to open that tab and try to isolate my grades. Okay, good. So I'm trying to hide the students' names. They are over there on the left. And there's my student IDs. You can see it can be first and last name. But I'm just looking for this one is who I'm looking for. But you can see there's a lot of empty spaces. I get that when I do export the gradebook. So that's why I did that instead of the assessment. But this is the only one that I'm interested in. So because we have a lot of withdrawn students, or we have some students with similar last names. If you remember when I did that export from my D2L gradebook, I was trying to also include that first name and last name. I'm going to erase it again later, but I wanted to match it up for now. So here's what I'm going to do. This is my CSV for from the D2L gradebook, and I'm going to match up my USA Test Prep grades on here. So what I'm going to do, sorry, it's kind of all squished, trying to be proper here, but here's where my grade's going to go. I'm going to match up my student first name just so I can be sure that I've got the right Anthony's and the right Alexanders, and just double check my roster. So I'm going to do that and then I'll come back. Okay, I just spent some time going through this roster, and you can see I filtered the top line, and I did A to Z using the last name. Again, if there are similar last names, I got a little bit of a mess down there around the Ramirez's, and just wanted to make sure that I had the right line. So I'd encourage you to do the same. Make sure your roster is correct, and make sure that your USA test prep matches your roster. There matches the grade book. Again, if you had students withdraw, it's going to make your rosters uneven. So check that out. And then I'm gonna filter for my blanks. I'm gonna put those zeros in. What's a CSV? It's gonna make me do it this way. And then I'm gonna also fix the score to match what my points set in the grade book are. This one, the USA Test Prep has given me a grade like 90% or 100%, but in the grade book I have decided to do 1, 2, 3, or 5, so I'm going to make those little changes here and I'll come back to you. And I'm just finishing up here, amending my USA Test Prep grades to make it look like the grade book that I want. So there I have it. I've got my students, I've got my grades, I've got that end of line indicator. I'm going to erase everything else now, because remember those names were just for me to make sure that I had the right students. So now I'm going to show you all that I have here is my username, my all-in score, and again that was downloaded, so that is a specific name that matches my D2L gradebook, and then my end-of-line indicator is going to tell it to go on to the next line. So that's it for this one. I'm going to save it so I can import it now. Save it wherever you save it. I'm just going to stick it on my desktop for now, and I'm going to call it the demo for video. Save it, and now I'm ready to go over to my gradebook again. So I'm back in my gradebook. I'm going to go back to my grades tab. Okay, now I'm going to import. I was on my grades tab, and there is the import button right here. And I'm going to choose the file that I just created. I called it demo for video. Open that. Just going to search for any errors, which I did find one just a minute ago, and it was because I had some outlier name on the side that wasn't supposed to be there, so I just went back to my spreadsheet and I cleaned it up, just made sure that only the things that were supposed to be in there were in there. And so continue, and it's gonna ask me there's no errors, do you want to continue? Yeah, I do want to import those grades, and it's thinking. And it's going to give me a preview to check the students and import. And it's going to go back to the gradebook where I can check my students, trying to just toggle the window of view for you. And the one that I just entered was right. This one, here, sorry, right here. So I could just double check and make sure that it all got in like I expected, and there it is.